This should be our fifth and final step for adding a mobile menu with a media query to target a breakpoint. So what we need to do is, let's go ahead and I'm just going to include, okay, so all of this in my CSS, this is the mobile. These are the rules for my mobile layout. And again, I tend to do the mobile layout first. So let's just add a comment. And what I'm basically saying here is what follows is not the mobile interface. So what I would actually have here is my first query might be for a tablet. Then I would have a third query for a desktop. And you could have multiple queries for different devices, for retina displays, for whatever. We're going to keep this simple. To get the idea across, we will just create one. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to drop down a few lines, even though it's not a good idea adding all these extra spaces. And we will use @media. And then this next part is really kind of up to you. So we're going to go with only screen and, but if we left only screen and off, then our media query would be basically on any device and for any use, like a screen reader, okay? But what we're going to do is specifically say only screen, and we're going to look for a minimum width, okay? And our minimum width we're going to look for is 600 pixels. And now we're going to add a curly brace and we're going to press return. And what's important is all the rules which you want to invoke, which could change what's up here, okay? All those rules need to go inside these curly braces. Be very, very careful with that part. And then of course, we're looking for a change in the minimum width. So as soon as our interface gets to be 600 pixels wide, then these rules will be enabled. Again, just to save a little bit of time, I'll just copy and paste in the rules which we are going to either add or change. So on the body, I'm going to go ahead and target the body and just add this light blue background color. And then our main nav, everything should, let's see what we're changing here. Our main nav is still pretty similar. And now we have our main nav UL. And it looks like I got an extra little semicolon there. And then our responsive nav display block, our responsive nav LI, width of 25%, float left, clear none. Okay. And then button, mobile menu button, border none, outline none, display none. So this is hiding the button. And you'll notice in the responsive nav LI, again, a width of 25 and a float of left. We're doing a clear none. So our buttons should go across the screen horizontally. So if we look at responsive up here in the mobile view, our width is 100%. Our float is set to left, but each of these are 100% wide, which would force them to stack up on top of each other like they do. And then of course we have a clear both still on here, okay? Or actually I should say clear both. We have clear both here, which is another way of making sure that the list items stack up. as opposed to down here where we set the clear to none, okay, which again allows them to go across the screen horizontally. Let's go ahead and save, and let's do a preview, and we'll just do a quick update. And you'll notice now, because our breakpoint is of 600 is exceeded, we are now loading the rules which are in our media query, which is looking for that breakpoint of 600 pixels. When we rotate, and now we are less than 600 pixels wide, we are loading the CSS for the mobile menu. Okay, so if I remove the inspector, you can also see it this way. All right, so you can see that change based on the browser detecting the width, okay, the width of the device. Now, real quickly here, I don't believe I added to the head of the document something that is pretty important. So let's go ahead, because remember, we are now talking about the viewport. We are not just saying the browser. We are saying the viewport width, the viewport height. And the viewport represents the screen of these different devices. So let's go ahead and just do a search for meta viewport. And we should see something come up for W3 schools. And this way we can just copy the code, but you can go to W3 schools and you can learn a bit more about responsive web design. What is the viewport? But what we're looking for here is this snippet of code, this meta tag, which is going to basically detect, if you will, the width device width. And what it's doing is just looking for an initial scale of 1. It's what it's setting this to. So it will make our page, this is necessary for your page to really be responsive correctly. So let's go ahead and copy. We're going to go back to our source code, and I tend to place my meta above the title, like so. Now we are 100% correct, almost. Dreamweaver does not add the language and to validate correctly. Now we really should add the language, and in our case, our language is English. All right, so now we should have everything correct. We have created a simple mobile menu. That mobile menu is looking for, let me go ahead and save. That menu, I should say, is looking for or detecting a width of our viewport. And as soon as this width gets to what we call out here, in this case 600 pixels, then these rules go into play, which could add to the rules in the mobile or change the rules in the mobile.